what's going on? How this rod moves under the magnet? Yes, this is what we are going to study today in this lecture.
So here is your science teacher from Mount Litra Z School, Rampura Full. So what we are going to discuss today in this lecture that we have seen earlier. Okay, so let's start with the lecture. Who is he? He is Andre Marie Ampere. Okay, who is he? He is Andre Marie Ampere. Why we are talking about him? Because today's topic is related to him. He told us about that topic. What? See, firstly, about electromagnetism, who told us Oersted's experiment, right? What Oersted said, that if a current carrying conductor produces a magnetic field, and the force of this magnetic field is experienced by a magnet placed in this magnetic field, right? So what Ampere said, this was said by Oersted. Now what Ampere said? Ampere said that the magnetic field placed in a current carrying conductor will also apply some force on the current carrying conductor. Okay, what Ampere said, that if current carrying conductor is applying force on magnet, then magnet will also apply some force on current carrying conductor. This Ampere said due to Newton's third law of motion, that every action has equal and opposite reactions. So if current carrying conductor apply force on magnet, then magnet will also apply some force on current carrying conductor, right? So let's understand this thing with an experiment. Okay, let's start then. Take a aluminium rod AB of about 5 cm length. Suspend it on a stand. Now place a strong horseshoe magnet such that it will lie in between the rod and the magnetic field should be perpendicular to the rod. Now connect the ends A and B with the battery, key and the rheostat, right? Now when you flow the current from point B to point A, then this rod will experience a force towards left. Now what if we reverse the direction of current? If we reverse the direction of current, then the force experienced by rod will also get reversed. The direction of force will also get reversed. Now when we get the maximum force? We get the maximum force when the rod should be perpendicular to the horseshoe magnet. When we place a rod perpendicular to the horseshoe magnet, then force experienced is maximum. Okay, if you place the rod perpendicular to the horseshoe magnet, at that time force will be maximum, right? Hope you all have understood this activity very well. Now if you know the direction of current and you know the direction of magnetic field, how you can find the direction of force experienced by this rod? How will you find the direction of force, whether it is going right or whether it is going left? As we discussed, if we are changing the direction of current, then the direction of force is also changing. So let's find out how we can find the direction of force. By Fleming's left hand rule. Now let's see what it is. Yes, it is, if you take your left hand and your first finger you will keep in the direction of magnet and the second finger in the direction of current, then your thumb will show the direction of force. This is the Fleming's left hand rule, that it will be done by your left hand, right? if you take your left hand and keep your first finger in the direction of magnet and the second finger in the direction of current, then the thumb will be thumb will show the direction of force, right? But the condition is your these three fingers, first finger, second finger and thumb, should be perpendicular to each other, right? It should be perpendicular to each other. Your thumb, you should stretch your thumb perpendicular to first finger and your second finger should be perpendicular to the first finger, right? So if you keep three fingers perpendicularly and first finger in the direction of magnet and second finger in the direction of current, then your thumb will show the direction of force and you come to know the force. If you are having any problem in remembering which finger shows what, then you can remember Fleming's left hand rule with a short story. That suppose a family has gone for a shopping in a shopping mall. Mother wants to go for shopping and children wants to go to play in amusement park, right? But where father will go? Who knows the direction of father? Fleming's left hand rule is like this. Okay, if M for mother and M for magnetic field, your first finger is in the direction of mother, where mother is going, and your second direction is in the direction of children, where children is going. That means C for children, C for current. Okay, where children are going, right? And then your thumb will show the direction of father. F for father, F for force, right? Where should be the force? Okay, mother wants to go for shopping and children wants to go to play. Then where father would go? He will experience a force in his brain, right? So the force he will experience in his brain due to mother and children, right? So if you stretch your first finger in the direction of mother and your second finger in the direction of children, then you will know the force on father, in which direction he is having force. Okay, now like Fleming's left hand rule, there is a Fleming's right hand rule also, but the basic difference is Fleming's left hand rule is used in motors, electric motors, and right hand rule is used in electric generators, right? These are same. This finger shows the direction of current, first finger shows the direction of magnetic field, and your thumb will show the direction of motion, in which direction the force is applied. Okay, so this is same as left hand rule, but the basic difference is left hand rule is used in electric motors and right hand rule we use in electric generators, right? Now magnetism in medical field. How we use magnetism in medicines, right? So have you ever heard about MRIs? Magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, right? MRI we use to scan our body parts like heart, like brain. Okay? So we use MRI to scan our body parts and then we can find that what is the problem in our body parts with the help of MRI. And MRI technique we use on the basis of magnetism, right? Now let's read what is written here. An electric current always produces a magnetic field. We know that. Electric current always produces a magnetic field. Even weak ion currents that travel through the nerve cells in our body produce magnetic fields. In our nerve cells, in our body, there are nerve cells. In that nerve cells, there are weak ion currents, okay, that produce magnetic field, right? When we flow the current in a straight carrying conductor, then magnetic field produces. Like that, our nerve cells has some ion currents that produce magnetic fields, right? When we touch something, our nerves carry an electric impulse to the muscles we need to use, right? When we touch something or anything, right, our nerves carry a signal to the muscles we need to use, right? Okay, if you want to touch or if you want to take something, right, then our nerves carry signal as electric impulse to the muscles that we want to use them. All right, this impulse produces a temporary magnetic field. This impulse produces a temporary magnetic field. Electric impulse is there, that means a temporary magnetic field is produced, right? These fields are very weak and are about 1/1000th of the Earth's magnetic field. Our Earth is also has a magnetic field, as we know that. Okay, so 1/1000th part of that magnetic field is the magnetic field in our body. It is very, very weak, right? Two main organs in the human body where the magnetic field produced is significant are the heart and brain. See, in all over our body, the heart and the brain are most important things that produces the magnetic field, and there it is strong as comparison to the other body parts. The magnetic field inside the body forms the basis of obtaining the images of different body parts. Okay, then we send these magnetic field, then these magnetic field inside our body send the images of different body parts. Okay, we use these magnetic fields to obtain the images of our body parts. This is done using the technique magnetic resonance imaging, MRI. Analysis of these images helps in medical diagnosis that what problem we have in our brain or in our heart or in any other body part. Magnetism has thus got important uses in medicine. So magnetism has also used in medicine, also in medical field also. Alright, hope you all have understood this lecture very well. Please go and revise the chapter completely so that further lectures you will enjoy. Okay, so till my next lecture, take care. Here is your science teacher from Mount Literacy School, Rampura. All right.